Good morning, teacher. Today I am going to tell about the story My Unknown Friend, written by Stephen Leacock. About the author, Stephen Leacock was a very popular Canadian humorist. He was also a teacher for many years. Literary lapses, nonsense novels, and sunshine sketches of a little town are some of his books. In the story, My Unknown Friend, the author finds himself in a situation where he fails to recognize a person who calls himself the author's friend, and he writes how he handles the situation. The author was sitting alone in the compartment of the Pullman, a luxury railway carriage. A person steps into the carriage. The person was a well dressed man. He had a long fur lined coat and he carried a $50 suitcase. He recognized me right away. The author on the other side was wondering who he was. The author found it very hard to remember people's names. Whenever a face or a name escapes him, he uses his presence of mind. The friend sat down, he told, with the tone of a sadness. It's been a long time since we met, but it went like a flash. He soon starts talking about the old gang, which the author certainly didn't know. But he acted like he knew it all. His friend asked, "Do you ever go back to the old place?" The author denied it once and for all. He didn't want to further discuss about the old place. The author so far scored the first point. The author found out there was an old place which was something to build on. The author's friend continued. Yes, I sometimes meet some of the old boys and they begin to talk of you and wonder what you are doing. The speaker used his great animation and asked, Say, where's Billy? Do you ever hear anything of Billy now? His friend replies, Billy is ranching out in Montana. His friend saw him in Chicago last spring, weighed about 200 pounds, which the author never knew. After that, he asks about Pete, which was a safe ground. He starts laughing when he hears Pete's married, as it was always funny when a person gets married in these conversations. His friend said in a confidential tone, I often meant to write to you, especially when I heard of your loss. The speaker wondered what he had lost. He thought to himself, what had I lost? Was it money? And if so, how much? And why had I lost it? His friend continues solemnly, one can never get over a loss like that. It was visible that the author was completely clueless but still pretended to be the friend. The man exclaims, Death is always sad. The author almost hiccuped with joy. In conversations like this, handling a death situation is simplicity itself. He quietly waited to find out who was dead. His friend sympathetically continued, Strong and bright to the last, I suppose. The author, falling to the sure ground. Yes, able to sit up in bed and smoke within a few days at the end. The man looks confused and asks, Did your grandmother smoke? The author was surprised to find out that the person dead was his grandmother. The speaker, annoyed at his own stupidity, quickly corrects his statement by telling, Pardon me, when I say smoked, I mean able to sit up and be smoked to. A habit she had, being read to and being smoked to. Only thing that seemed to calm her down. As soon as the author finished speaking, he could feel the train slow down. His friend quickly looked out of the window. The author could see his face agitated. Great heavens, he said. That's the junction. I have missed my stop. I should have got out at the last station. Say, Potter, he called out in the alleyway. How long do we stop here? The porter replied, Just 2 minutes. His friend hopped up now. He was trying to fit a bunch of keys at the lock of the suitcase. He tells me he needs money to wear back, for which the money is in the suitcase. The author's topmost fear was that he would fail to get off. The author, during the rush of the moment, hands all the money he had to his unknown friend. There was a clang of a bell, hiss of steam, and in a second the train was off. The author was looking out of the window and wondering who the man was anyway. The author heard the porter's voice again. The porter was evidently guiding someone through the car. He hears him saying, look all through the car for it, sir. He hears the angry voice of a stranger, well-dressed man who puts his hand into the door of the author's compartment. His face beamed with recognition for the $50 suitcase and not for the author. Ah, there it is, he cried, seizing it and carrying it off. The author sank back in distress. The old gang, Pete's marriage, my grandmother's death, great heavens, and my money. The author realized it all. The other man, who so called himself his friend, was making talk too, and making it with a purpose. He, he felt betrayed. The next time that he fell into talk with a casual stranger in a car, he shall not try to be quite so extraordinarily clever, he thought to himself. Thank you, teacher. By Ashley Jovitha.